Monster Hunter Wilds is quickly becoming one of the most popular games out there, and for a very good reason. Not only is it a fun, fresh take on an RPG, but the battle mechanics are so good it has me feeling like I'm playing Helldivers with a sword. The campaign styling, battle strategy, and upgrades were all really thought out, making a fun and fresh gaming experience for everyone. And what's great, you don't need to go through an excessively long campaign to get to the good stuff. So whether you're a beginner or a seasoned player looking to get more tips and tricks out of this game and simply just have a lot more fun, you've definitely come to the right spot. One of the first things you need to consider when getting started is choosing your weapon. And in Monster Hunter Wilds, they have something for everyone. You have that basic sword and shield, longsword, dual blades, assassin style, strong hammer, even SMG and LMG style weapons, or the bow for more of that long range playstyle. And one important thing to note right from the beginning is you can choose 2 different weapons to battle with. So you can mix that up with 2 similar styles, or do something like choose 1 close and 1 long range weapon. But don't worry, you can actually go to the training area in your first camp and test out all the weapons before you decide. Be sure to master the combos of your weapons before heading in for real battles. Now, the next thing to note when getting started is your armor. Here it's important to focus on which enemies you will be facing. And one thing that people miss, as you get a little bit further into the game and have some more resources, you can customize your armor to have higher defensive properties against different monsters of different elements. Now, there's definitely more to go over there, but I think it's important to point out some of the mistakes at the beginning to give you guys more value, save time, and grow even faster. First off, something easy, simply just don't forget your bounties. These are your daily missions that you can see from the help desk, and a lot of them you'd be doing anyway, but they can make a big difference helping you progress through the game a lot faster. You've probably seen this one by now, unless you're an absolute beginner, but don't forget about sneak attacks. They're so valuable. Simply sneak up behind a monster, activate that sneak attack, and deal some critical damage before the battle even begins. Another easy tip that makes a big difference when fighting is remembering to go into your settings and set that field of view. Simply go to the camera distance zoom and change it from a 4 to a 10. Having this larger field of view makes battling monsters, especially flying monsters, so much easier. And then in terms of flying monsters, one tip that'll save you a ton of time starting in map 2 is becoming a bright moss hunter. No joke, you can use this by throwing the moss at a flying monster, hitting him in the face, and he'll drop to the ground, allowing you to get off your powerful combos and killing your foe so much faster. Now, backpedaling a bit here, if you're a beginner and getting ready to enter battles, there's one crucial step not to forget. Don't forget to eat. Eating fish and meat, as well as combos of other ingredients, really do give helpful buffs. This definitely isn't something to overlook. It can actually mean the difference between winning and losing tough battles. So where do you get ingredients? You have fishing, meat from downed monsters, quest rewards, Tom from the ingredient center. You're definitely going to want to check in with him every day, and later you'll be able to trade with villagers. And for best results of collecting resources, remember to always focus on seasons. And for this, focus on the season of plenty.
The great season of plenty has arrived.
You can do this naturally during the correct season, making sure you're in the season of plenty, or later on in the game when you have rest, you can spend 300 guild points to change it into a season of plenty right away. When you're out in the wilds, you can't forget to eat. You do this by playing a mini game to grill meat to well done, but be careful not to burn it. Now that we've covered food, let's dive into combat. Now, this might be jumping ahead a bit, but one thing to note right away is toggling on your focus mode and doing focused attacks on the same spot to a monster. This is often an overlooked way to do more damage faster and loot more resources. Yes, just by creating wounds and doing fast focus strikes on them, you can do more damage and get loot when the wounds burst. As for your health bar, it's important to keep your eyes on it at all times. Remember to potion up when you need to, and call on your sacreds to escape tough situations. It's also good to note that you can both heal and sharpen your weapons while on sacreds. Definitely take advantage of this. Then, if you're near a monster and you have low health and you see that health bar starting to glow red, it's time to get out ASAP before you get obliterated. And speaking of being on your sacred, you can also jump off of them onto another monster and mount them and do more damage that way. You have to be careful not to fall off, but as long as you're careful, you can do focused targeted attacks, especially on the back of the head, and take down monsters much quicker. One cool thing you notice after lots of hours is different species of monsters have similar attack patterns. So make sure you're memorizing these attack patterns from monsters of the same species so you can become a master hunter. Also, when dealing that damage, make sure to pay attention to parts actually coming off the monster. These are important to collect during the battles for crafting. Another unique way of gathering resources, when you take down one of those big monsters, of course, go in and collect everything. However, if you're fighting smaller monsters, one cool strategy that you can do is actually let these smaller monsters decay. You do that by standing around them for about 5 minutes. Be careful not to go too far or you'll see them despawn, but around that 5-minute mark, you're gonna see them become rotten carcasses, and they have a potential to do something very rare, which is to get kind of a white film over them and being able to harvest a wyvern sprout. And this is really valuable because you can trade it for other rare items. But it's not only that too, you can get things like monster fluid and other rare items in the carcasses and the bones later. Next comes crafting. You can do this in your tent or in the field. Here it's worth actually taking some time going through the menus and see what combos of ingredients you should be searching for. Maybe even take a notebook and jot down the things that you want to look for most so you don't forget later. For instance, if you need a lot of potions, always be on the lookout for herbs and honey. And then for other battles, you might need some other crafted items, for instance, the sun. In this case, look for the resources that you need, bring up your map, and follow the corresponding image and set out to acquire them. Also, just a simple tip, if you're out gathering herbs already, don't forget to equip the botanist gear while you're doing so to gather more. Now, in terms of that multiplayer or co-op mode in Monster Hunter Wilds, they did a good job. Now, it's important to note that it's not a full multiplayer mode, it's that campaign, but co-op with a friend. So if you feel like you've grinded for so long and it's getting a bit monotonous, what better time than to get one of your friends over in a co-op campaign and destroy some monsters together. But overall, as you can tell, there is just so much to this game and we wanted to keep this guide more short and sweet for you. So let us know what you'd like for the next video. Do you want us to do a deeper dive like this? Do you want a weapons guide, more beginner tips, or feel free to suggest a different game for us to cover? Let us know which tip helped you the most and we'll see you in the next video.